Hey guys, Rich here. I'm geeking out on my electronics bench today, taking a look at what is going on with these rechargeable LED light. This one specifically says SunZone light, and I'll link it below, not so you can buy it, so you can make sure you don't buy it, or at least watch this video before you do buy it. I've got two issues with this light. One, this battery just does not seem to hold a charge, and I'm not going to address that in this video. I'll probably hook this up to a battery tester and run it through a couple cycles and see what's going on. Maybe one of the cells is just not in great shape. And the shrink wrap's got a recent date on it, but I don't buy it. I don't buy the date or the rating. I wouldn't be surprised if these are batteries that were recycled out of like used laptop batteries or something. Anyway, the other thing that's going on is when you turn this light on, it's really wonderfully bright, but then it seems to fade out. And I didn't know if it was just my eyes playing tricks on me or what. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna hook this up to the oscilloscope, and there's something really sneaky going on here, and I doubt it applies to just these lights. I think it's fairly common on these cheap import lights, regardless of the brand. And the brand doesn't mean anything anyway, right? I mean, SunZone, I don't know, it's like some invented company. I'm sure they're not the ones that actually made these lights. So this light is turned on right now, and I've connected the wires in sort of a roundabout fashion so that I can see what's going on for the output to the LED on the oscilloscope. And if you look, what it's doing is it's just turning the current on to the light on and off at a pretty high frequency, 20.2 kilohertz. So it looks like constant, wonderful light to us, but it's actually switching on and off really fast. And if you look, it's essentially switched on. So the amount of time that the light is actually receiving power from the control board is 29%, and that's just the oscilloscope measuring the distance from here to here as a representation of the total cycle, the total frequency. So essentially it's sending power to the LED 29% of the time. Now this LED is in high, the light I should say is in high right now. Now I'm going to turn this light off, and I'm going to turn it back on. And boy, that looks like a significantly different waveform, doesn't it? Now our duty cycle is it's about 63%, okay? And it's holding steady. It looks, similar to the waveform before. It's just that the duty cycle is longer. It's remaining on longer before it cycles off. And, at first I thought, what's going on here, because it took me some time to to get everything hooked up. And when I first measured it, I was seeing the about 30% duty cycle, and thought that was a bit unusual. Like, wow, they're really underdriving this thing, having it on only 30% of the time. But then when I cycled the light on and off again, I was seeing 62%. And what's going to happen here is after exactly 1 minute, 60 seconds. That's how I know that this is not based on like some sort of temperature monitoring or something on this board. There's certainly no temperature monitoring on the LED board. It's just a positive and negative. But there it goes. After exactly 1 minute, it's going to start ramping down the amount of time that it's essentially switched on. Watch the duty cycle dropping. It's going to jump around a little bit as the scope has a hard time measuring when it's changing like this, but it's eventually going to settle down to right at about 30%. And there we are. It's done. I have done this time and time again. It starts at exactly 60 seconds, always takes the exact amount of time to ramp down to that 30%. But now here we are back at a duty cycle of about 30%. And it's probably dead on 30%. My guess is there's probably just a slight error in the measurement on the scope. This isn't exactly a high-end lab scope. So there you have it. If you think one of your Chinese lights is getting dimmer after it's been turned on a little bit, it sure is. In fact, this light, let's switch to the medium setting here. So again, we're on high. We'll go off. There we are. We're back to the 62, 63% in high. Let's go down to low. There's low, 34%. So the light's actually brighter in the low mode when you turn it on than what it ramps to from the high mode. And this mode ramps as well. After 1 minute, this is going to ramp down into, I think, the low 20s, or maybe even the high teens. I don't recall, but it's also going to dim down to significantly less bright than it is to start. So there you have it. Don't buy cheap lights. I wondered what this thing was doing. It's not really perceptible to your eye as it dims down because it ramps down so slow. But once it's done ramping down, it is, you know, roughly half as bright as it was on high. So don't buy these lights unless you only want to use it on high for about a minute, because that's all you get, unless you want to just keep cycling the button. There you go, guys.